All right, and welcome to the first episode of the abridged version of the Blow Up the Team podcast here. Um, we're here today. We're going to be talking about the Arizona Cardinals and the absolute monstrosity that they've been the last few years. So these episodes are mostly going to focus on kind of the NFL draft. This is mostly going to just be a draft recap more than anything else. I'm going to do another kind of recap after we go through all the teams for the draft and talk about kind of how they've prepped themselves for the season and maybe some win-loss projections as we go forward. Um, yeah, I mean, do you have anything to add before we just pop right into it, Sakura?
Wasted Larry Fitzgerald's career, not worth any time. They also, I'm never going to give him for the 2009 Super Bowl because I wasted, a lot of hours that night instead of doing things that were worth my time. I was rooting against Steelers. I was rooting for the Cardinals. That's the last time
That's
I'll ever root for the Cardinals.
that's tragic. Yeah,
Never heard the end of it from my uncle. It's
but
been over 10 years. I am never going to hear the end of it.
Larry Fitzgerald is a hell of a football player, man.
Yes, and unfortunately, he had to spend it on that team.
Hey, I give him credit for his loyalty, man.
I'm
But
currently on the blog. I'm currently on our Twitter right now, looking at the Rangers signings. I don't know anything about hockey. I don't understand who they signed or what anything's going on.
good. Okay, redirected.
But
Uh, let's pull this off the other screen over here until I get logged in. I didn't know we were going to Twitter, man. You didn't give me any context.
whoa! We're not going to Twitter. I'm just saying, like, I'm doing things that are more worth my time than talking about the Cardinals.
All right, here we go. We're on our Twitter now.
I actually think I need to fix something because I may have a.
So for those of you who are wondering,
Oh,
oh
you got a
god,
security warning right now.
oh, because I logged in.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who are wondering, Zalkaro runs our Twitter. We need to
Oh,
update the. You need to update the logo, my guy.
yeah, a little bit.
So you can do that.
Yeah,
Um,
I meant to retweet the picture that's currently the last retweet
wait,
we
did you
had.
put? Is this your picture from Fenway Park?
Yes.
I didn't know
Ah,
you'd
yeah.
still active on the Twitter, man. Good for you.
Wait, when did I post that? I don't even remember posting this.
September 8th, 2019.
No. I retweeted a bunch around the. I retweeted the Garrett Cole signing.
Okay, maybe you shouldn't be retweeting politics, my guy.
Oh, I didn't mean. It's not really politics. It's a meme. I thought it was on my personal Twitter. Just a little mis. Like, okay, it's not like it's like like here's a policy. You know.
No, yeah, no, that's fair. I was just
Uh,
saying. I just the first thing I saw was Bernie Sanders. anyways,
oh yeah.
anyways, so as we get going here, at the end of this video, drop a subscribe. Drop a subscribe. Wow, I'm sorry, too much Twitch action for me. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and we're gonna have a link to our Discord in the description. So go check that out. We're looking for kind of ideas for what to do as we wait for sports to kind of get pumping again. So if anybody has any ideas, feel free to pop on in, come say hi, hang out, play some games with us. So we're always hanging around. We ain't got a whole lot to do now that school's ended. But without much further ado, let's go look at how the Arizona Cardinals draft went. Where do I start? Because honestly, they actually had a pretty middle of the road kind of draft. I wouldn't say that they had anything that really stood out to me. So for those of you who don't know, I go to the University of South Carolina. I had the privilege of watching Isaiah Simmons eat us for lunch for the past few years now. So I think he's going to be a monster. He
In two
filled
different
a.
positions.
What's up?
In two different positions.
yeah, true. Um, he this kid was just a athletic monster. There's nothing that we couldn't do anything with him. Obviously, it's going to be different in the NFL, but I think that he's going to make a pretty good transition in. It's gonna take some time for him to kind of transition into an NFL speed, but he'll be all right. He's just a athletic freak. That was a good pickup for the Cardinals. I think an outside linebacker. I was actually taking a gander at their statistics, and Jordan Hicks, linebacker, he was an ex Eagle, was their leading tackler, which shows that they tend to put a lot of faith in their linebackers to come up and make those tackles, and he'll fit that role very nicely. It does say outside linebacker, but I wouldn't be surprised to be seeing him drop back in coverage as he gets a little bit more kind of into into what's going on and up to speed at 6'4", 238. He can be a fast edge rusher if he needs to be on kind of on a smaller line, but I think that his speed and just how much of a physical freak that he is can make him a very good addition to a coverage linebacker position. And then kind of moving down the rest of the draft, they did not have a pick in the second round, which if I was a Cardinals fan, I would have been hoping for them to move up and maybe select a wide receiver in the second round. I think kind of mid-second round, there was still some. There was one guy I had in mind specifically. Somebody like a KJ Hamler, I'm sorry, was not the wide receiver that they were looking for. So mid second round, they kind of already missed the boat on. I think they needed a big body wide receiver. I think that was the biggest hole that they needed. I know it just lists wide receiver here as what they needed, but Larry Fitzgerald is aging, and they've already got what's that kid's name? Christian Kirk. They've already got Christian Kirk. He's about 5'11", and he's a pretty speedy guy. So they've got that speed wide receiver position filled, but they need that kind of big body over the top guy. And I personally haven't seen anything on their roster that sticks out to me as that's their guy. So I would have personally liked to have seen them kind of. If I was a Cardinals fan, I would have been looking for them to kind of move up and snag a bigger bodied wide receiver somewhere in the mid second round. Let me go take a look. You see, I should have, good podcasts, that are not still ironing out the kinks would have already had a guy in mind, but we're going to just go kind of sifting through here, and we're going to see what, and Zalkar has uploaded an image.
I just gotta say, like, things I've discovered about the Cardinals, like this kind of war room, this guy means business. Like, look at that shit. Never mind. I love the Cardinals. Great organization. Look at how he's got 3 fucking phones, 2 TV screens, plus a giant flat screen with a laptop, 2 water bottles, one of them clearly a Fiji. Like, this guy's just like hard flexing at everyone while sitting here running the draft. No. Cardinals top 10 team next season. Like, look at that fucking backyard, man. Look at the fucking backyard. That backyard's the size of my goddamn house. Cardinals backyard game, GM game on point. On point.
Okay.
10 out of 10. Draft, who cares? Anyway. Sorry, can you tell I've been paying really good attention?
Oh, sorry. Anyways.
Shit.
So, somebody like a T. Higgins, first pick of the second round, that was never going to happen. I don't see them moving up as high as the first pick in the second round. Also, I think the Bengals knew that they were going to need somebody for Joe Burrow to throw to, a young guy that they can kind of build chemistry with over his first few years in the league, and T. Higgins felt like a obvious choice for them there. But even if he came down to somebody like Van or Von Jefferson, I'm sorry, I'm not great at pronouncing things, but, somebody that, like it says here, elite route runner, that's what they need. They need somebody that can kind of run that deep post, and, 6'2", he's not a huge guy, but he's more of a threat than 5'11" Christian Kirk that they got. So, and as Larry Fitzgerald I'm imagining he's going to be retiring within the next couple of years here. I mean,
Hey guys, so
I can't imagine that they will be, that he'll be playing for much longer. He's been in the league for, it feels like, forever, honestly. Do you have an opinion on Larry Fitzgerald there? I was waiting for the button.
I mean,
or you already said your pit and you're done and you're ready to go home.
I mean, my opinion. I mean, listen. Larry Fitzgerald will have a spot on the Cardinals for as long as he wants to play. I think he could be the first NFL player to play at 50, because I think it'll be that long before the Cardinals make real moves. I mean, he's 36. He's in a very, demanding position. I feel like, if he games out smart, I feel like there's no reason why he couldn't make it through the season or maybe another. But, especially in such a volatile role that is wide receiver, like, it changes from season to season. Like, you've seen people like Victor Cruz be a complete monster one year to, just never to be heard from again.
And
like, that's
completely valid. With somebody like with a young, same reason why they needed why the Bengals needed a young wide receiver. I just think that with Larry Fitzgerald aging, It was time to give Kyler Murray a younger target to go alongside Christian Kirk, who will be that kind of inside slot kind of
Oh,
speed
yeah,
guy.
that's another reason. That's another reason. Fuck the Cardinals. They lured Kyler Murray away from the MLB. Come on.
But what about this, man? What about this? Come on now.
I mean, listen, if I saw a war room like that, I mean, yeah, I thought, but like, come on.
Anyways, so yeah, I think maybe moving up, even if it was just into the late second round and taking somebody like this, just a 6'2", he doesn't need to be huge. I mean, or even if they want to move up a little bit further, somebody like Chase Claypool here from Notre Dame, he caught my eye earlier, 6'4", with a 4.45 40-yard dash. I mean, they've compared him to Calvin Johnson here. Calvin Johnson is probably he was the first real wide receiver that really I followed for as when I was a kid. I remember Madden 13. He was just a monster. Was it 13 that he was on the cover of? I think it was Madden 13 he was on the cover of. All right, now I have to look that up. Hold up, don't piss me off. I'm sorry. Quick pause. Oh, look at that memory. Madden 13, Calvin Johnson on the cover. That was the first Madden I really got into. So, I mean, that being said, I guess draft rating for them as we kind of I mean, there's not a whole lot of. Oh dear me, I'm so sorry. Um,
What do you do?
I clicked on
I'm
the wrong
pre-
button. Um, but as we look to kind of move forward, for them, I think that they did a good job of filling roles that they needed. They got their offensive tackle over here in Josh Jones. You know, 6'5", 319. It says he's a good pass blocker with solid body control. I mean, I hadn't really heard anything. The thing is that outside of the first couple rounds, stuff becomes kind of a lot more unknown, right? So, but I think they did a good job of filling the roles that they needed. They filled the inside linebacker spot. Obviously, we talked about Isaiah Simmons already. Um, they filled in a couple holes where they needed it. So I'm gonna give them probably a B for their draft. I think they did a good job. They filled their holes where they needed to, but I think that they really missed an opportunity to move up and select a big-bodied wide receiver, kind of get a 1 or 2 years mentorship from Larry Fitzgerald, and kind of be able to move into that kind of 1-2 role with Kyler Murray, so that way, they have a solid young core to build around going forward. But I mean, you can't if you're a Cardinals fan. I don't think you can really complain. You've got a stud for an outside linebacker now coming into your system, and you've got Kyler Murray that's only going to continue to develop, and he showed a lot of promise in his first year. So I think as Cardinals, you have to be cautiously optimistic is what I would say. But specifically for the draft, I think they did a good job. They didn't do a great job, but they did a good job, and you can't really have too many complaints. So I'll give them a B. You have anything else to add over here, Sakura?
Give me 1 second.
Oh,
Hold
all
on.
right. All right.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was about to roast the fact they're called the Cardinals, but apparently in Northern Arizona, Cardinals do live. So okay, never mind.
Okay. So anyway, this has been Blow Up the Team. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment on what you want us to do next, and the link to the Discord will be in the description.